Well, we talked about all the earthly reasons that marijuana should be legalized. But should Christians smoke marijuana? Welcome to One Word Wednesday, baby! Hello, and welcome back to the Croak and Crow podcast. I am Spencer Cartier.
I am Heroina.
And this here is Frank, looking razzle-dazzle fresh. How are your shoulders feeling? You got a lot of weight off them.
I took off my 21 hats.
21 hats. Lent is over. Easter. Did you guys have a good Easter? We'll get back to that.
Yeah. So today, instead of 21 hats, I have on two scarves because I still haven't decided what I want to do. Are you relieved, or was there a bit of Stockholm syndrome to the hats? Stockholm syndrome.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a your comfort blanket. You had to say goodbye to it. Well, all good things must come to an end.
And now something new can begin.
And now those hats are happily in heaven.
They went to hat heaven.
So, okay. Yeah, well, I missed the hats. I'm back on TikTok.
Yeah.
Month's over. And let me tell you, talk about addiction.
Time eater.
Last night, I think I was up till 1 a.m, I'll tell you. I was. That
doesn't mean you were on TikTok.
I wasn't. No. Yeah. Hope everyone had a good Easter on Sunday. However you choose to celebrate it, if that's Easter egg hunts or if that's church in the morning.
Yeah.
Anything's good.
Yeah.
But now it's that post-Easter depression.
No.
It's all downhill from here.
No, it isn't.
No. See, this is why I like Easter.
Mm-hmm.
It's up there for me in the holidays. So, Christmas. You get Thanksgiving, late November. Then you have the Christmas season, Christmas, New Year's. And then after that, you're just in February. You're just in the cold.
Oh, yeah.
The nice thing about Easter, especially if you partake in Lent,
yes,
is I feel like Lent is kind of through those last cold months.
Right.
Once you get to Easter, you open your eyes Monday morning and you say,
right.
it's spring, baby.
Yeah.
You can say spring's March 21st, but I think, Easter starts it.
Yeah.
Now it's like, now you feel like it's here. Spring is here. The bunnies are out. The flowers are blooming.
Yeah. Trees.
Blooming onion.
Flower. Everything's blooming.
Everything's
coming
blooming.
back to life, reminding us that when you withstand the winter, spring's always waiting.
You know what? Exactly. Those spiritual winters. Where's your spiritual Easter? How about that?
And April, we're getting to the end of April. April showers.
They
and,
do bring May flowers.
Maya Angelou said, no rain lasts forever. So again, you could put that in your life.
Yeah. Unless you live in a rainforest.
But I'm sure it still doesn't last forever.
No, just frequently.
Frequently, yeah, but you get those breaks.
You get those breaks, little sunshine coming from the canopy.
Yeah.
So
through the canopy.
Through the canopy.
Instagram.
I want to write a book called Through the Canopy.
Okay.
That's kind of good. Spiritual book. Hear me out.
Okay.
And it's talking about dark moments.
Okay.
And like a rainforest.
I can see the cover already.
And because in a rainforest, it's like the sky is covered from the canopy, but I'm sure there's just light through the canopy.
Yes. When it kind of gives me circus vibes as well, but that would be a different canopy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely not gonna be a circus book. Could be. I don't know. I haven't written it yet.
There's there's the Instagram. We're doing the polls.
We're doing the Instagram polls. If you don't follow us already, follow us at Croak and Crow. Join the Bible bracket.
Right. And yesterday or today.
Today is Hosea and.
Yeah, today.
Yeah.
If you look at the Instagram for today, all of them are saved on the highlight bubble that says Bible bracket. The picture is there was a leaf fell on my windshield and I could see the sun through the leaf.
Oh.
And so that's the picture if you look that up.
Okay.
But you're just reminding me because like through the canopy, I love when the sun shines through leaves and down through trees, the shadows it makes, but also when it's shining through the actual foliage.
Yeah.
Foliage.
Interesting. Yeah, and just leaves by themselves when you put light through them and you see all of the intricacies.
The veins and stuff, right?
Sometimes that's what we need to do with life,
Yeah.
You might just say, everything I see is around me, but those veins, there's spiritual veins in our earthly leaves.
Carrying all the
How about
nutrients and life. Yeah. I think
you're
you're writing the book on air.
I think so. I think if we just go back and get the transcript, boom, it's written.
Well, that's absolutely true.
That's absolutely true.
Don't you do it.
It's like the book I read, actually. We can make a book right now. A little shameless plug for a book I did not write. Pope Francis, Happiness in This Life. It looks like a book because it is a book.
Okay.
Some things are face value. But
can we judge it by its cover?
But it's not. Oh, look how happy and healthy he is. Not me. He's
looking at the
for
Pope.
You look happy and healthy.
He's looking at the Pope.
What it is it's just excerpts of things he said in the past.
Collection.
In his, homilies and all that. So we could just make one of these bad boys. But
I'll do that after the show.
Okay, good. I was hoping you would because I wasn't planning on it.
Right.
It is April 20th.
Okay.
Earth Day. No, it's not. Earth Day is on Friday.
Huh.
Yeah.
What is it? The 22nd?
22nd.
Yeah.
Today's 420, which means...
Light it up. Okay.
I don't know why I lit it like it was a fuse.
Yeah, I know. And I'm always thinking of the podcast audio. Like, what is he doing? 420, which is now synonymous with
marijuana
smoking.
Yeah.
Because years ago, the kids would come home from school, no one's home yet, and then you have this little window of opportunity to have your weed smoking to relax.
Yeah.
For dinner and homework.
Yeah, start with the time, 4 p.m. and 20 minutes.
I mean, it wasn't allowed. It was a
little delinquent holiday.
It was secret. Yeah, it was secretive, and it was also like, you know how now they have the secretive. Let's go, Brandon.
Yes.
Preston didn't know what that meant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I said, let's. He's like, what is that? I don't know what that is.
So for you guys that don't know, Let's Go Brandon is a Republican. I would say more on the
Trump supporters.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, I'm sure there's Republicans out there that don't like it because they're like,
right. So I think it's just Trump. Not all Trump.
More than Trump supporters, even.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, it's derogatory.
Anti-Biden.
Yeah, it's derogatory. It's like
anti-Biden.
The same people that would say "not my president."
Right.
And so at one press event or rally, someone was yelling "F Joe Biden."
Okay.
So the F word, Joe Biden.
Right.
The speaker, it might have been Joe Biden or Trump. I don't really remember. They were like, "Let's go, Brandon." Yeah, okay, let's go, Brandon.
Oh, right. F Joe became Go. Biden became Brandon. Okay.
Yeah, so they misheard and repeated it, but now these people say, "Let's go, Brandon," because it's like a secret. Like, I'm saying F Joe Biden, but with the cancel culture, I can still say.
So the people who know, and the people who don't aren't offended. So that's what 420 was.
Yes.
So the people who knew.
Oh, it's 420. Wink, wink.
Right.
It's not like, let's go smoke the devil's lettuce.
Exactly. So the people who knew were like, I get it. 420 means let's smoke weed. The people who didn't know weren't offended. So that's why I brought that up.
How do you feel?
Today's April 20.
Yes.
In America, we do month 1st, day 2nd. So it's 420.
Yeah.
Somewhere else it would be 24, and that's not helping.
No, that's not. How do you feel about the legalization of marijuana?
Oh, definitely. Now it all makes sense that Bernie Sanders posted legalize marijuana today, and it's just making sense to me that today is 420, and therefore I see what you did, Bernie.
I see what you did.
I'm for it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm for the legalization of
Any
marijuana.
reason?
I'm for the people getting out of jail who were in there for it.
Any reason?
Any reason? Because
it's a Christian podcast. I think we need to go a little more in depth than just.
Oh, because I'm not against marijuana, and because it's criminalizing something that I don't think should be criminal.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't think comparison arguments are the greatest arguments because it's like, you might be defending one bad thing with another bad thing.
Right.
But I think the hypocrisy of let's just, and I'm not saying police officers are bad, but there's police officers on their days off going to the bars and filling their bodies with poisons it's called alcohol.
Right.
And then the next day, once again, I'm not saying that it's their personal opinion, but by upholding the law, having to send people to jail for marijuana, which I don't think is as bad. And for there's a lot of reasons that we're not going to get into the politics, but just the idea of by criminalizing a recreational drug such as marijuana, where it doesn't have the same effects as, dangerous things that that can lead to the harm of that person or others. You're actually giving it harm by you're creating drug dealers, and you're creating a underground world, which underground worlds in any capacity are dangerous. So, and
it's a confusion at this point in time in our society, because in the 60s it was criminalized marijuana, right? And they'd say, you're going to go crazy, you're going to kill your family, you're going to jump off a roof. Now we say, grandma can have it, come get your prescription, come get your candy pen, pipe, and you can use it. It's healthy in these circumstances. It helps these people, and it helps these psychological conditions. And then you're saying it's still like we're still holding on to that old thing,
and that brings the confusion, right? Like where it's like now we are in that middle phase, but it's like Colorado's been legalized for years now, and what are we like? I feel like there's a lot of people that hold on to laws. Why? Because they were the laws. You know, it's like, and imagine if we did that all throughout time. Imagine if we never adapted. So it's like when you hear people's arguments for it still not being a thing, it's one, personal choice. Like, I'm not into the marijuana.
Right.
And so, but why would then I'd be like, so therefore nobody should have it.
Right.
And then the other thing is just, well, it's a law.
Yeah.
Well, you can't do it because it's the law. And it's like, we can go back, not far back. I'm talking within our one generation's lifetimes to see some laws that you look
at. Just Google it. Yeah.
You look at now and say,
crazy laws. Yeah.
Crazy law. And I'm not even saying crazy in the sense of you can't have an alpaca in the middle of a street on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm saying just very morally wrong laws.
Right.
And so the idea to just keep laws because they're laws, not cool. But,
and it's confusing to me too, because alcohol is so widely accepted in society. For we make in America, you make people wait till they're 21, but once you hit 21, it's completely acceptable. You can have your bottomless mimosa brunch, so you're drinking it in the morning. Mom can say, "Oh, those kids were pretty hard. I need my bottle of wine at 6, 7 o'clock at night." It's acceptable for every single person. And it's controlled by the government. You have to have your stamps on all of the bottles, and you have to have a liquor license and so forth.
And you can't do it in public.
Right. And if someone makes moonshine, you can make a dangerous alcohol. Yeah. You can kill somebody with when you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You can get killed making it, like when it explodes.
Yeah.
The still, or you can die drinking it. But I don't think you can die if I grew marijuana. Like, is there a strain of marijuana that I could grow that is going to kill me?
No.
Right. So that's the confusion.
And the marijuana enthusiasts will always point to that. They're like, it's not like, once again, you're not comparing like meth and saying, well, you guys drink, why can't I do my meth? They're saying like, I can show you stats of how many people died today from alcohol related causes.
Right.
And I mean, unless some, I don't know, crazy thing happened, like too much smoke inhalation from the tobacco leaves you're smoking it with. But their argument would be, how many people died from marijuana today? 0.
Right.
And so.
Yeah. And every single doctor's appointment, every single emergency room visit, every time I go anywhere with myself or with someone else, first question they ask, do you drink? How much do you drink? Have you drank? And they never ask me if I smoked or, ingested or, partook in weed. Why not? If it's so dangerous and you're saving me,
Yeah. Well, we talked about all the earthly reasons that marijuana should be legalized. But should Christians smoke marijuana? Welcome to One Word Wednesday, baby. How y'all doing? It's One Word Wednesday. You know what we do. We pick a word and we talk about it. We talk about the real life meaning of the word. We talk about some metaphorical ideas of the word, and we talk about spirituality with the word.
It sparks us.
It sparks us up, I'll tell you that much. And today's word is drugs.
Oh, trigger warning.
Trigger warning.
Trigger warning. If our word is drugs. I tried to look up, since I knew it would be drugs, and I'm not even joking. People have struggles and people very close to me. So anyway, I tried to look up, like, you know how we did the suicide show and then we had the suicide hotline?
Yeah.
And I didn't really see, like, it's not as well known. Like, what do you do? Like, who do you call?
Yeah.
You know? So, of course, you can call AA at all times.
Yeah.
We talked about that, and which is included is Naranon.
Yeah.
But you could just put this up. It's SAMHSA, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. They have a national helpline. Okay.
Yes. Very important to caveat that before we just jump into our silly talks.
People, you're watching and then you're like, wait, I didn't expect that to happen, and now I'm triggered, and it's Wednesday.
Yeah, it's Wednesday. I'm listening to my Christian podcast. I didn't know if I wanted to.
Why are you doing this to me?
All right. Well, the one point you brought up, you know, we were talking about marijuana, the legalization of it. First of all, it's such a broad term. We can talk about it, like,
true.
What is drugs? Caffeine's a drug.
Prescription drugs.
Prescription drugs. And so there's such a wide array of both mind-altering and not mind-altering drugs, you know? So I guess we can dive into a lot of it. And I think where I'd want to start is, what is the purpose of drugs? I think it's to alter your state of mind. Right. Even as simple as caffeine.
To get lifted.
Or to get down. I mean, like, there's things that are downers.
True, you're right.
Chill you out. You take a Xanax.
Oh, that's true.
It's to change alter your state of mind.
Yes.
And then you can go and eat drug, and it's like, why do you want to alter your state of mind?
Yeah, that's huge category, right?
And so, as Christians who are navigating our way through life, it's like the base question for you to even get into the specifics is, should we be altering our state of mind, or are we given this type of conscience to perceive the world in a certain type of way? Right. I don't have the answer. I mean, I think in a way, yeah. But all right, so let's start with alcohol, which I know is not a drug, but it's a mind-altering substance. Okay. Why I'm starting with it is because, unlike everything else we're going to talk about today, it is very prevalent in the Bible. Very. Very prevalent, both on good occasions and bad. Like, right. So forget the good occasions. If you type into BibleGateway.com, drunkenness, they're usually the negative connotations of drink. Yeah. Because, like, there'll be wine and everything like this, but drunkenness is usually telling you not to do it, and now it is stopping you from your. But that's what I'm going to say, though. But it's still in the Bible of good occasion. Jesus turned water into wine. Yeah, the alcohol is and I think a running theme through today is going to be once, like we always used to say as Christians, there's a difference of condemnation and accepting the entirety of it. You know what I mean? So, like, I think that's going to follow through, where it's like, Jesus drank. Yeah. The Bible also repeatedly says the problems of being a drunkard. And I think drinking makes you very earthly. And so it brings you down, which sometimes people use, but then they can abuse for that reason. Right. Well, what do people say when they come home from a long day of work and they have a drink? I just need to wind down. You know, it's like your mind is all over the place, and you're trying to bring it down. Even remember, we just did a podcast that we had Purim in it, Purim, the Jewish holiday, and it had alcohol as part of their holiday. Yeah, and so it has the effect, I think, of bringing you to a more earthly life. You know, like you ever see just a group of drunken guys, and it's like they seem very. It's simple. It makes things simple. Oh, yeah. Which. Because it lowers your inhibitions. Which people use because it's like, I get, sometimes they want that relief of not having. But we're not talking about alcohol. That was a different podcast. What? We're not talking about alcohol. I was starting there because it's in the Bible. Okay. So now we're going to transition more into the drugs that instead of bring you down, put your head more in the sky. Take you away. Yeah. Of course. That was the transition I was trying to make. So even though there's a wide array of drugs, we're going to talk about the ones that put your head more in the sky. Okay. That is the marijuanas. Yes. That is the magic mushrooms. Yeah. The psychedelics. Right. And why we're going to talk about this today is because in spirituality for centuries,
Mm-hmm.
there has been a running debate of, does that help spirituality and does that not?
Right.
And I say for centuries because you can look back at the Native American cultures using ayahuasca
Right.
to channel their spirituality and get these kind of
all
visions.
of the natives of the world. Yeah.
And this has happened throughout time. And the question is there truth behind it? Is there truth?
It depends, because every single person is different.
Yeah.
Every single person is different. And so there are people who need to get out of their own way.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to make a blanket recommendation or
I was recommending anyone to do anything. I'm just
No, I'm saying like not a
question.
recommendation, but like it's hard to
go out and do ayahuasca after the podcast. Let us know what you think.
It's just so hard. There's so many different people. And even, there are drugs that are, we talked about prescription drugs. We always hear about the abuse of prescription drugs, or like the, just them giving it out unnecessarily. But, a lot of people need prescription psychiatric prescription drugs.
Yeah.
Christians, there are some Christians who do benefit and are able to live a Christian life because they're on psychiatric drugs.
Yeah.
So, but then, do you know what I'm saying? Other people do not need it. But I would say it was the same thing with the recreational hallucinogenics, because are you against it completely?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I'm just thinking, like you're saying, is it necessary that take the Native Americans, in the when they do that whole ritual of smoking the pipe and just getting out of their way, allowing themselves to go to higher planes of, but people can do it with meditation. They can do it with like cold therapy. They can do it with.
Well, so that's why I'm torn, right? I'm going to go to, so, obviously there's a lot of things that make you kind of, there's churches out in, I don't know what state, that they all smoke weed while they're praying, and it gets them so focused on like the spirituality, like Walk Through Thursdays, they get into it. But then I'm going to go to an extreme example to kind of show where my side is at.
Okay.
If anyone watches Joe Rogan or just knows about their drugs, there's a drug called DMT. Okay. A very powerful drug. It's found in a lot of living life sources. It's in our brain. It's said to like release even when we die. You are not moving around and interacting with your own life.
Okay.
So you just kind of boom, go out. You feel like you're in a rocket ship that shoots out, and then you are surrounded by what is often described as just like it's not described in human words, but you feel loved. You feel protected. You interact with beings who tell you like things like secrets of life, all that. I'm butchering it. You can you can look into.
So we've heard. We didn't do it ourselves.
No. So we've heard we did it ourselves, and wait. So we've heard we didn't do it ourselves.
I haven't done it.
No, we have not. And my thing has always been, I at one point had friends who were doing it, and so they were talking about the experience.
Yeah.
And for me, it was sounding, and while a lot of people they truly believe it is a spiritual experience, like what they're experiencing is real. And for me, I always believe that the veil between our earthly world and the conscious understanding is thin between the other.
Right.
And so the reason why I would never do it is because I am the type of person where it's like, I'm not supposed to be seeing that right now. Like that might make me more confused. Like, I right now, where like I'm on Earth, I'm going to live my earthly life. What happens afterwards is what happens. You know what I mean? Like the idea of looking into a portal into what could just possibly be something. Could it be nothing? Sure, but for me, like that's my thing with these super mind-altering substances is like I'm always in the thought that the veil is pretty thin.
Yeah.
And we can get glimpses and stuff, like you said, through meditation, but like for such a powerful like boom, you're there. It's for me, it's kind of a scary thought of like, ooh, should I not be seeing this yet?
Yeah.
And so then like in the inverse, it puts just like back to the legalization of marijuana for other spiritual people. Like I don't really, like, just because I'm not into it, it's like, do some people find value in that? In that idea of like, this brings me away from Earth.
Yeah.
And maybe like I said, and you are right, everyone is different, and like
so complex.
And so complex, but I guess just on the essence, let's not even talk about recreationally. Right? Because recreationally, you're doing it for fun. You could be taking ecstasy tablets in a club.
Right.
But
I'm just going to have to agree with you.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to agree with you. Don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. That's a saying. Mm-hmm. And also, you can't serve two masters. That's in the Bible? You can't serve two masters, right? And people will say, oh, that means like, earth and spiritual, whatever. But all of these examples could also be, yes, you might be reaching these planes in with drugs. Yeah. But you can't live there. No. You have to come back. So life is difficult. Yeah. And for most people, and I said everyone's different, everyone has different challenges, but generally life is difficult. And that's just a known fact. Yeah. And so it takes so much for us to just keep ourselves together, keep some sort of focus, some sort of balance. And when you're trying to live in two different worlds, and that's what you're doing, because that is such a different world, like the way you just explained this DMT, or I know weed smokers are going to say it's not a hallucinogenic, so but like we have 20 minutes to talk about a very, very complex subject, so we're just saying, even with alcohol, even with marijuana, any kind of drug that you're doing that's taking you so far away from this world that you have to live in, and it's better than this world that you're living in, so you just can't wait to keep getting back to it because it's helping you so much. You're making the comeback. When you get out of the swimming pool and you feel so heavy, right? You're like, you were just so weightless in that pool. And when you get out, you're like, wow, gravity is pretty strong. Yeah. And it's just, to me, you're just giving yourself a harder time because we do live here now. There's another saying which doesn't really go, but it's just like in my head, which is like, let the dead bury the dead. It's not so much, it's like you will have your time to be exploring the universe and flying like a rocket ship and all this. But right now we're made out of flesh and blood. The gravity holds us to the soil and we're walking, and to keep going back and forth, I just feel that you just have your wheels on your car are not balanced. Yeah.
And then the other thing, like, on a spirituality side, if you're seeking spirituality in a way of like, but I use this to get more spiritual, you run into the problems of like, are you doing yourself a disservice by stunting your personal ability of growth by, like giving yourself a shot of adrenaline before you go to the gym, and it's like, you can lift so much, and it's like, well, yeah, but then tomorrow you're going to not be able to, and you're going to be like, well, then why am I at the gym? Right. And I think my closing thoughts at least will be not against any of it. Right. I think, if there's a center line, there can be some high, no pun intended, where, and then there could be some lows, like if you are doing things that make you more earthly. We talk about earthly activities all the time, from like gambling even. And it's like, but you always, I think, while we're on Earth, you want to find that center, and you don't want to do either. Right. The drunkard wants to stay down. Right. The person who is like, doing a lot of psychedelics every day because it's like a higher plane of consciousness, and they always want to stay up. And I think that is what you see in the Bible of like, they're not against the wine. They're against the trying to not be on that level line.
And for you to know who you are and what you're doing. Yeah. Because if you have on a virtual reality headset and you think you're jumping 50 feet in the air and you're not, you're jumping 5 centimeters, it's not real. Yeah. So you need to know who you are, what you're doing, what you're actually able to withstand.
So, a very complex topic. We could have talked about it for 2 hours.
We could have.
Maybe one day we will.
We'll go back.
Maybe one day we will. But if anyone has any comments or questions, I feel like this is a podcast where it's like some people might leave with questions. Like, well, is this okay? Well, is this okay?
Yeah.
Well, we can give our opinions. I mean, we would probably make them up on the spot. It's not like we've practiced this, but let's have a conversation about it. Why not? It's 420. Let's all just get high and ask each other what's high thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
Why is the sky blue, man?
Right.
Some things like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, tomorrow we'll be back for Walkthrough Thursday. Mm-hmm. Till then, go out and have a little dance party. Why don't you?
Why?
I don't know. Jiggy mood. Peace.